Vito was after me. He'd been trying to get in my pants ever since the 10th grade. But even though we hung out with the same crowd back at Vito High School, I never gave him the time of day. Because I, Geraldine was the most popular girl in the crowd. I had my pick of anyone. And Vito was just a skinny little kid with a big greasy pompadour and a cowlick and acne and a big space between his front teeth. True, he could sing, and he and some boys formed a duo group and called themselves Vito and the Olives. But lots of boys formed duo groups. I wasn't letting any of them in my pants either. I've heard it said that between the wish and the think, life lies waiting. Unfortunately, sometimes we put all our energy to achieving an end and not enjoying the journey. I present Prose, Vito Loves Geraldine, by Janice Itis. So like I said, lots of boys wanted me, and I liked to make out with them, but I never let any of them into my pants, because in my own way, I was a good Catholic girl. And all this time, Vito was wild around me, and I wouldn't even make out with him. But then, Vito and the Olives got an agent and cut a record teenage heartbreak, which Vito wrote. And I began to realize that Vito was different than the other boys, because Vito had an artistic soul. And then on graduation night, about a week after Vito and the Olives recorded Teenage Heartbreak, I realized that all this time I'd been in love with him too. I'd just been too proud to admit it because, you know, he was a few inches shorter than me and he had that acne and that space between his teeth. There I was, all dressed up for the prom, in my red prom dress, my hair teased higher than ever, waiting for my date. But my date wasn't Vito. It was Sally Boy Reticuliano, and I wanted to jump out of my skin. About halfway through the prom, I couldn't take it anymore. I loved Vito, and that was that. I spotted him standing over in the corner, and he watched me as I walked over to him. And he took my arm, and we left the auditorium together. We walked over to the Gun Hill Projects and found a deserted bench in the project's laundry room. Well, we made love for hours. We made sure I wouldn't get pregnant though because we wanted to do things just right. Because like I said, I'm a good Catholic girl in my own way. Anyways, afterwards, he walked me back to Allendale Avenue, and we took out the car keys and carved Vito Loves Geraldine in a heart over the elevator in my building. But it was careful to do it on another floor, not the floor I lived on because, well, we didn't want my parents to see. A few days later, Vito and the Olives cut it to #1 on the charts, which was unbelievable, like 20,000 holy miracles combined. And then a week later, Vito and the Olives got flown to LA in those beach party movies, and Vito didn't even call me to say goodbye. I cried a lot, locked myself in my room. But then I decided to chin up and accept my fate. Yeah, it was true. I was a ruined woman, labeled forever as a tramp. Me, Geraldine Rizzoli, who made out with so many boys back at Vito High School, so careful to never let any of them into my pants. There I couldn't have done it with Vito Vinicio, who turned out to be a two-faced liar only interested in fame and money. Dumb, dumb, dumb Geraldine, I thought. And I couldn't tell my parents because my father would have taken his life savings, I swear, and flown to LA and killed Vito. So after a little while, I started feeling pretty strong, and I thought, okay, Vito, you bastard. You want done Geraldine Rizzoli? Tough nuggies to you, buddy. And then a week later, helping my mother with the sub dishes, which I did every night because, like I said, I'm a good Catholic girl in my own way. When the phone rang, it was Vito. And he said to me, hey, Geraldine Rizzoli, will you wait for me? And he sounded so sad. And I took a deep breath, and I said to him, I promise, Vito. I promise. So the next day, behind the counter at the Advanced Meat Store, I started making plans. I needed my independence. But that night, when I told my parents that I wanted to get my own apartment, they embraced the whole hell. And my mother and father may have been Catholic and Italian and hot-tempered, but they were good people, so instead they got my father's best friend to rent me an apartment in the building he owned. My days of making out with the boys of Allendale Avenue were over. I was going to wait for Vito, live like a nun until he returned to me. So I settled into my new life and I waited. And sometimes I could skinny, flat-chested, blonde model from somewhere like Iowa or Idaho or I don't even know. I was really angry because I knew that it was me. Geraldine Rizzoli, that was the best thing that happened to him. Now calm down. This model, whose name was Muffin Potts, was no threat at all. Vito would be back. A little ashamed of himself, but he'd be back. Soon after that, started reading little few items with a fan mag. First, that Vito's marriage was on the rocks, which was no surprise to me there. I was surprised it lasted more than an hour. Then I read that Muffin had left me for good. And I, Geraldine Rizzoli, knew enough to forgive him. A few days later, I was dipping some chunkies into a pyramid behind the counter at the Havana Sweet Store. Goldie George came on the radio and said, "Hey everyone, we've invited Vito to come back to his hometown and sing Teenage Heartbreak for us one more time." And I stood there, frozen, because he was coming home. And I knew that it was me, Geraldine Rizzoli, that he was finally ready to come back to. So, the night of the concert, I played my albums, and I waited. I cheesed my hair and put on my makeup, and waited. I put on my prom dress, and we waited. And we waited. Just then, there was a knock at the door, and they opened it. There he was. He put on a little weight, but not much. And even though he lost some hair, he still had a pompadour. He was holding some flowers, red roses, which, of course, I picked out to match my red prom dress.